Department of Education has the nerve to say that JFK is failing. But who are they to say this, huh? They have to take responsibility themselves because they are the ones also failing this school.
We've been organizing for so many years. We've been to countless hearings. We've been face-to-face with politicians before. So we know what it's like when they make the big decisions without us. It kind of hurts. So we want to know that even if that we're here on a Friday night, on this weather, we want to make sure that they make the right decisions. Because if they don't, it's a lot of work we're doing to preserve the school.
Students are not the only protagonists in this situation. Teachers also have a lot to think about while preparing for these school closures. Especially in these circumstances, teachers are not guaranteed lifetime job protection. Since last year, the guidelines for teachers to get tenure have become stricter.
I read the articles in the newspapers where they outlined what they wanted to do, and I just remember that it gives principals the authority to increase the number of years that somebody's on probation before they have to make a decision, and that I think there are 3 or 4 ratings. The first 2 are good. If you get 2 bad ratings, then you can be removed in terms of then you can't become a teacher anymore. I think that's a little bit too stringent. I think the process we had when I became a teacher, I was on probation for 3 years. I worked very hard. I was observed, I think it was 6 times a year, twice by the principal, 4 times by the assistant principal. There were many opportunities to be critical and to evaluate the teacher, and I do believe even then they could extend it by 1 more year. I think what this process is going to do, it's going to maybe inhibit or prohibit some people who are thinking about teachers going into it. And I think one of the reasons people like going into teaching is because it is a secure position with certain guaranteed employment and so on. And this is all changing. I don't think it's really necessary. I think the current system allows for teachers who are, not qualified to be weeded out within the first 3 years is a long time to be evaluated.
So the question on most people's minds is, what will happen to these students once these schools shut down? Assemblyman Marcus Crespo, who has been working on this problem for some time, has the answer.
Office of Assemblyman Marcos Crespo, how can I help you?
I'm a bit troubled by the way the city handles the closure process. A couple of things. A couple of years back, there was a big uproar over the city wanting to close several schools throughout the city. They didn't do any notification in advance to the community. They didn't really reach out to the parents or the school community to find out what could have been done to improve those schools. And those schools really didn't get a fair shot in terms of resources. You got to understand, when the city talks about closing a school, they're talking about replacing it with a different school. It's not a situation where they will close a school, eliminate that school community from that neighborhood and all. What they're discussing is phasing out a particular school and phasing in a new school. And that's considered a closure in many respects because it's not the school as you knew it. It might be a new team with a new mission, with a new approach to teaching, but there will remain a school there. So for a lot of those students, some may be able to apply and stay within that same school. Some may have an opportunity to transfer to other schools or move into other schools, maybe even within the same building. And so at the end of the day, those children will have a seat.
Although students will have somewhere to go to after their school closes, they will only add to the recent problem that New York City schools are having, which is overcrowding. Education enrollment figures claim that some schools are filled to approximately 200%. When these students finally relocate, they will have to deal with limited space in classrooms, as well as the emotional attachment they had to their former school.
It's very difficult because any one of us who went to a particular school have an attachment to the name, to the school, to the community that was there when we enjoyed it as students. And I think that plays a lot into it. There's a real life situation for the administration and for the teaching team because these are their jobs. I mean, there's no guarantee that the new school will hire the same staff. And so I think to that extent, it's a very difficult change to make. I think the city has to be very, very careful to make sure that they are only looking to close the schools that really have tried everything and nothing seemed to work. But we can't shortchange a team of people and say to them, you have to do a better job with less resources. If not, you're out of a job. I think that's unfair, and that's a setup for failure. That's happened in some of the schools that the city has tried to close. And so there are a number of schools out there. I have a couple of schools that are looking to be closed in my district. One of them was attempted to be closed last year, but because of a lawsuit, the city had to keep it open. Now they've done a lot more outreach in terms of portraying what's gone wrong there. I'm still reviewing that information, and I want to make sure that they got it right, because if not, we shouldn't go to that drastic step of closing. Nonetheless, it's always a difficult decision to do that and to rename a school, to change it. There's a lot of sentimental value to the name and to the school community, on the students that are there and the students that graduated from there. And so it's always a very, very difficult thing to do. But we're always looking for the best for our students as well. And if a school has had issues and has been challenged and hasn't been able to live up to par to their expectations, then I think it's only fair to the students that are there, that are hoping to graduate with the right mindset, with the right level of education.
And amidst all the controversy surrounding the school closings, State Senator Gustavo Rivera, as well as other members of the community, came out to a hearing at Kennedy High School in an attempt to save the school.
I'm here to speak today alongside other elected officials and community leaders and community members. Other elected officials like Senator Espaillat, Council Members Patel, Jackson, and Rodriguez, about the potential closing of JFK High School and the lack of dialogue with the parents whose children JFK attend, or attend JFK. I am here on behalf of hundreds of students and families that live in the 33rd Senate District that will be impacted by the potential closing of this high school. And I'm particularly concerned by the way that the Department of Education has proceeded with this process, because I know that we can do better. The poor communication between the Department of Education and the parents of Kennedy is a huge problem, because parents need to have a voice as we proceed to make decisions that are going to impact them and their children.
My understanding is that JFK was so overcrowded that in 2003-2004 school year, the capacity supposedly was 3,785, and that the enrollment was 4,739, and that leaves approximately 950 students way over the capacity. And if you think about this for a second, when you are a parent looking at schools for your children, would you register your child in a school that had over 950 students over the capacity?
More of the school closing drama continued in Lower Manhattan as this rally took place.
My daughter's 7 years old and PS 114 in Canarsie, and I think it's disgusting that they want to get rid of the new teachers. Meanwhile, they're keeping this old principal that they had that was stealing money, taking money, and they moved up to the Bronx. Get rid of that. They don't have to get rid of the new teachers. New teachers are excellent. They have enthusiasm.
A lot of schools in the city are struggling to keep doors open. Working harder every day, putting emphasis on the word community. We all put a little effort on this, and you expect them to do so well.
What they have done when they close schools, they transfer students to other large schools that are on the edge or not doing very well, and when it closes, it's a domino effect towards closures. That's part of their game plan. And also, we held a hearing last week where Councilmember Williams and Barons were there, 6 hours in the Education Committee. And after the Department of Education spoke, advocates, parents, students spoke about the fact that they are not given the resources in order for schools to succeed. And I say to you that we must continue to fight to make sure that those individuals in charge, and they're in charge. As you know, the state legislature gave them authority to have mayoral control. And did Charles Barron support it? No. Did Tamani Williams support it? No. And did I support it? Hell no.
I say that if you want to shut something down, shut down Tweed. Shut down the Department of Education, because they have failed us. There's a $23 billion budget. So where are all our computer labs? Where's our science labs? Where's our money for music programs? Where's our money for athletic programs? Where's our money to get smaller class sizes? Where's our money to pay principals and teachers that really want to teach and really want to lead? We're saying to Tweed, you can talk about shutting us down all you want, what would happen if we didn't leave? What would happen if we went to the school anyway?
Hi, students and parents. My name is Sandra Thomas. I am a parent leader of District 10, and I have a passion for a school called MS 391. My son graduated with that school. I was in that community when they built the school and watched it go down twice. Phasing it out and replacing it again, it still wasn't successful. 5 years ago, they got a principal and hard-working staff in this school. This school went from a D to an A. Now they want to put the school on a PLA list for the simple fact that it made a B this year because it changed our principal.
That ain't right.
That's not right. Give us a chance. We climbed a ladder from a school that was infested with drugs, gang-related, and it's not fair to close down MS 391 until you let us finish climbing the ladder. Don't stop us now. You took us from nothing. We brought it up. Now you want to take us back down. That's not right.
John F. Kennedy once said, "Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education." With school budget cuts in effect, it's going to take a lot to transform the city's education system into the vision that John F. Kennedy imagined. I'm Brianna Graham, and this has been your NTV Extended Look.
And that wraps it up for this edition of NTV. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for another episode that will be airing very soon. Have a great day.